Like to call to order the Phillipsburg City Council meeting for March 2nd, 2020. Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Do I have any public comment tonight? Okay, let's take a look at the February 17th minutes in your packet.
Remind me, were they gonna, when were they gonna follow up with the?
Speed bumps?
Mm-hmm.
I don't remember. They're gonna follow up.
Have you heard anything from the children? Okay.
I make a motion we approve the February 17th minutes as written.
Do I have a second?
I'll second that.
There's seconds, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Appropriation ordinance number 1055-02-19B in your packet. Starts on page 6.
Tim, is that the last payment, Corn Main?
Pardon?
Last payment, Corn Main?
No, we also have a pump note in there.
Okay.
I have a correction on the agenda, it should be 0220B1 2020.
02 what?
20,
20B. Please note that.
It's correct on the appropriation ordinance, but not on the agenda.
Okay. You were just checking us, weren't you? See if we're awake.
G&L Plumbing, is that community building? Part of the community building?
Yes, you have to pay 50% upfront on that.
Okay.
Any other questions?
Make motion we approve appropriation ordinance 1055-02-20B.
Have a second?
Second.
Tracy seconds. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Vicki, do you have anything tonight?
No, sir.
Mr. James?
I thought the guys did a good job on the snow removal on the last snow, even though it was only a couple inches supposed to be, so.
Couple six?
While you're talking about that, Mike, I asked Tim, I had a couple of people ask about the piles downtown. And so I had Tim write something up, and this is what he came up with. Now, this is just
You mean where they cleaning the streets in the center and piling
piling
up?
it
And
up, yeah, okay. Upon completion of snow removal operations, crews will remove salt spreaders and begin hauling snow from downtown piles. Crews will make every effort to begin this operation within 48 hours of completion of snow removal operations. That
Fair.
work for everybody?
That's fair,
Okay.
Do
that's fair.
we have consensus on that? Okay.
Yep.
And the other thing I had was, finally, we may see a trash truck at the end of the week. I had a note that's supposed to be delivered into Kenworth and Kearney tomorrow. And I talked to Kenworth and Kearney, and they said give them 3 days. They would hope to have it to us Friday, unless there's
Find something else.
something wrong. So we should see that truck that was ordered close to a year ago now. And I think it was March 20th, if I looked the dates up right. So we're crowding a year.
Okay.
Other than that, that's all I got.
Can I ask
Does that mean it's a year newer?
Hmm?
Do
that
we
mean-
have to take that truck up there, or do they pick that up?
Hey, it stays right where it's at. They'll come get it. We're done with it. I told them they could pick it up today if they wanted to, you know.
Okay.
We're done with
Make
it.
sure they do take it up to them.
Yeah,
As
just
soon
get
as they
it,
pick it up, please take it off our insurance.
Yeah.
Our liability.
just get it ready to go, so I don't know when they'll pick it up, because even when I talked to them, they asked about it, and I said, you can have it right now. Well, we'll schedule something, so they could pick it up this week, maybe 6 months, you know. That's their deal at that point.
Anything else, Mike?
No.
Terry?
I've got one thing here. Last week, the water committee met to discuss how to handle damage to the water meters and the radio device, was damaged by the customer or contractor. The committee directed the city staff to direct policy for review for the committee. These radios, the cost on them is $141 plus installation and programming. The city staff will also send information to customers and contractors to assist on educating the public on the new devices.
That's the little thing, things on
Yeah.
the meter
Meter lids.
Meter lids, yeah.
Tim?
Something that Kent was able to show me today is there's some lids we're looking at. They'll actually they'll recess those down. So he's gonna get some prices together, what it costs to replace some of those downtown that are giving us problems now. One of the issues they have with these, there isn't one for the multiple radios, so we'll have to do some additional things to try to figure out how to make that work. But at least with this one, as you can see, it's pretty flush.
Yeah, I
And,
know that one outside out in Midwest Energy, I about sheared them off with a snow shovel.
I seen, 2 more today that were.
You
were
just
sheared off,
don't
so-
think about it.
Yeah, I
You're
think downtown.
plowing that snow and there they are.
So we'll get you some prices and have this back to us for you guys to look at.
Sounds good.
I've got 2 on mine, so.
You can knock 2 of them off.
Yeah, I've got 2 on ours too.
The only other thing I have, that I'd like to go into executive meeting when the meeting's over.
Okay,
That's all I have.
Mr. Miles.
Okay, the sanitation, solid waste committee met. And we decided we needed to increase the polycart rate from $18.90 a month to $19.50 a month. It's approximately a 3% increase, and it hasn't been adjusted or raised since 2015. At least 2015.
Question I have on that then, that's just polycarts?
That is the residential
Because we
polycarts.
raised the dumpsters last year.
Yeah.
That was gonna be
They-
my
yeah,
question, because I didn't
yeah.
You went
remember
from
that.
40 to 50.
Yeah.
Yeah, all right. I didn't remember that.
I'll make the motion that we raise it from $18.90. Tiffany has some.
Sorry, you said residential. Do you want the commercial cards?
Well, it's
Because
the-
they're currently charged $18.90 as well.
Yes,
Yeah,
all
all
of the, I call it the small carts.
Okay, just make,
Okay, all of the small carts. Anything that's $18.90 will go to
okay.
$19.50.
One more question.
Okay?
Was there consideration taken into that with the increase of recycle? Is that part of where that's at?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, we thought we could absorb the other piece if they do that, because we did bring that up. If they do stop the recycling program altogether, what we generate for recycling would impact us about $1 a customer.
Instead of 60 cents. We basically took half of it. We're gonna absorb the other half, and we may have to adjust it again next year, depending on what happens.
Okay,
So,
good, good.
So we have a motion. Any more discussion? Do I have a second?
Is that effective April 1st then?
April 1st, yes.
Do I have a second?
I'll second
Mike seconds. All in favor?
that. Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes.
The Finance Committee met today as well, for insurance renewal. We expected to have some numbers for tonight's meeting. We did not get them. So we'll discuss it, next meeting. It's approximately a $6,800 increase from last year, and most of that was general liability. What we're looking at is the cost to buy down some of the for hail. If we get several hailstorms, the roofs on all our buildings, is what we're looking at. Mike, you can jump in anytime you want. Anything over a $500,000 building, it's 1%
For deductible.
for deductible.
Which it was 2%, and the new policy is
1%.
1% instead of 2.
Right.
But it still leaves us with quite an exposure, which they was gonna look at that to get, as Brett said, the buy down on that from anything over, any facility over $500,000.
Yeah.
And that would include like the pool, the water tower, this building, places like that, to bring
Water
that cost
tower,
down.
Yeah.
So,
Wind and hail.
yeah, wind and hail.
She never did get back.
Yeah, she said
She
she
sent an email, she couldn't get it today.
Oh, okay.
It wasn't because of her, she couldn't get her,
Right,
so
okay.
we'll visit about it. We'll
Which-
have to renew it. We'll have to make the decision next meeting.
April
Right.
1st is when our new
Yeah.
policy.
But then
goes
she also said, just for everybody, that, what is that, EMC that we was under before, we'd have still paid no less
in
than,
15%.
what was it, 125,000?
It's a 15% increase over the last time.
Yeah, so
That's who we had before.
it's still cheaper, even though with an increase, than where we was at if we'd have continued, but we think there's some things that need to be
Adjusted.
adjusted because of the liability that we could be facing. Not that we'd get wiped out all at one time, but you take one building and the deductible could be $50,000-$60,000 on one building. It depends on which building it is. Could be more, could be less.
Okay.
And
Anything
that's all,
else?
no, that's it.
Okay. Pete?
For once I'm not last, but no, I haven't.
Tracy?
I'm last, and no, I don't have anything.
Mr. Sage, do you have anything tonight?
Mayor and council, I do not have anything to report this evening.
All right. I would like to appoint Dan Christ, AKA DC, to the Board of Zoning Appeals. And I'd ask the council to approve that appointment.
That's so moved.
Second?
I'll second it.
Terry seconds. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you. Tim?
A couple things, just a reminder, the 23rd to the 26th, they'll have four of the staff members will be at the Rural Water Conference. Last 2 weeks, the guys worked on snow removal. We spent several days doing that. Also working upstairs on the renovations upstairs. They also got the speed signs relocated. They were not able to get the potholes at Second and Spruce and Fifth and G corrected due to the wet pavements. So we will try to get those done this week. Give you an update on the city office renovations. We've got the bathrooms upstairs are in working order. Doors have been installed on both of them, so we're working on trim. And we'll have trim, windows, and a little bit of this and that. But we've got to do some work to the bank window or the teller window yet. But all the lights were finished up this morning up there, so it's coming along very well. I believe things are starting to wrap up pretty decent. We'll start getting the rest of the stuff moved back in from the garage that we have left and try to get things put back in order. AMR project updates. So from the installation portion, the meters are all installed that the contractor had been scheduled to install. We went through and read them one time, and I believe they're working on those comparisons for what was read versus what we did the old way. In our last meeting, we had that loan agreement from KDHE. I inadvertently missed two of the forms that need to be put in there. I believe they are in your packet this evening. First one is called an excerpt of minutes. It says that you gave the motion to allow for the mayor to sign into this agreement and that it was approved. Then there's also a motion or an ordinance that'll go out to the newspaper for advertising the fact that we have entered in this agreement with the Kansas Department of Health and Environment. If you so please, I'd like to see those motion and second so that these can be filled out and completed.
What's the ordinance number?
I had a resolution number prepared, but not an ordinance number. Go get it and read it.
I'll make a motion that we have the mayor sign Exhibit F, excerpts of minutes of the meeting of governing body of the city of Phillipsburg held on March 2nd.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? I noticed this loan has Mr. Sage on the form of opinion of an exhibit.
He will have to sign off on the last sheet, yes.
Okay.
I'll go ahead and move on, if that's okay with you.
Yep.
The airport runway extension design contract, we met on via conference call with the FAA and KDOT to come up with some directions forward on that design. So the way that has to be done to meet FAA's requirements, we're gonna have to phase the design. The first phase will be what they call the environmental assessment, and the second phase will be design. So they're gonna restructure KDOT's contract just a little bit to make sure that fits into it. The reason for that is because if you award the design, it actually opens up liability back to the city and the state, but you award a design contract before your environmental was done. So this just follows it in the process that it needs. In your packet, I believe that you have in there a fuel contract with Trinity Ag that shows what, how many gallons of diesel and how many gallons of gasoline that we purchased in 2019. Does the council wish to contract any of that fuel?
Did I miss it someplace? Where's the gallons at? Oh, there it is. It's in that highlighted area. I wasn't seeing it. Yeah, but the problem with that I see, Tim, is April 1 to October 31, 2020. And you're sitting there saying, that's what you did last year. I don't see how we can contract on that basis.
I don't believe we contracted any fuel last year.
We didn't? No.
I don't think so either.
I mean, if they was, it'd be worth looking at to me if it was like an April 1 to like March 31 or 30 or whatever, you know, if you're looking at a full year basis to probably put something together, but for that shorter period, I don't think we can do that myself. But.
Well, the E10A7 at $242 and the current price is $229.
Yeah,
I believe so.
that's the other side of it.
Why would we contract?
Right.
And all indications point to crude dropping to the high 30s in the next month or so.
Correct. But that's a pretty short window there too.
Yeah.
Okay.
This one there.
While
Well,
back,
on consensus, we have consensus that we will not
Yeah,
contract.
that's
We
fine.
have
Yeah.
consensus we will not contract.
okay. A while back, I brought you a resolution for some changes to the Airport Advisory Board. I believe that's back in your packet. I mistakenly thought that we had been given the green light to go on that, but we had not after reviewing the minutes. So if it meets your approval, we would like a motion and a second to pass that.
Refresh, what was the changes?
It was a change to make the original airport board had to be all from the city of Phillipsburg. They all had to be licensed pilot. This allows them to be anywhere in Phillips County. 2 of them will reside in the city limits and will have pilot license. This just opens it up to more people to be available because our current airport board would not have
Qualified.
met for it.
You have a resolution for that one, Tiffany?
281.
I'd so move to approve resolution 281.
Have a second?
I'll second that.
Terry seconds, all in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion passes.
Also in your packet, you'll find a letter from Kansas Department of Transportation announcing that we have been selected and approved for the transportation grant for 2021. We just received that last week. Also in your packet, there's a first addendum to the lease for the Department of Revenue for additional space. They currently do 440 square feet. They would like to add another 250 square feet to that front office there. We reviewed it a couple different times, and we have no objections to it if the council so pleases to authorize the mayor to sign that agreement.
Is that the same square footage rate that we're charging them on the 440?
Yes.
So what's this grant cover again?
Pardon?
This grant that you were talking about, what does it cover?
The transportation program, the bus.
Oh, the buses, okay.
This is,
As expected, that'll cover the cost, okay?
Yeah, they gave us what we asked for.
Okay.
I assume that this lease has been through the facilities committee.
Correct.
I so move to have the mayor sign it.
Do I have a second?
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes.
This next lease agreement is between Northwest Kansas Community Corrections. They wish to occupy a portion of the old driver's license office with Smoky Hill. They work in conjunction with Smoky Hill during their drug test or drug programs. This would be a no-cost use. Basically, they're there the same time Smoky Hill is.
Same term. Any questions? Did this go?
Facilities of,
You
look
looked
at
at
this,
it?
yes,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay. So you make a motion.
Make a motion to approve this.
Second.
Tracy seconds, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes.
Just some reports that we got approved, or that we submitted. Our Tier 2 reports have been submitted for the year, as well as our annual water report and sludge report. I can report that our annual water report shows a water usage of 19.71% of water loss. Now, please remember in that water loss, we had 4 months there with that large leak that was approximately 38 to 39% water loss, so that number will be significantly less. The one for January was at 11.5, so I believe we still have a little room to work on that, and I believe it'll be in the single digits here shortly. So
That was the leak down there at the crossing.
that's correct. The wastewater plant has developed a leak. I discussed this with the committees the other day. We had investigated on what it looked like, what it needed to be fixed, and I had a contractor come down and look at it. He has indicated that roof shows significant hail damage. And in talking with our insurance folks and our deductible, it is cheaper for us to go ahead and move forward with looking at a new TPO roof for it. That cost is going to be approximately $12,000. So I will be bringing that quote and stuff to you for your upcoming meetings. Just be aware.
Which is a rubber roof, correct?
Yes. That'll be a 60 mil minimum with a 25-year warranty. It's all welded seams, so there'll be no places for it to cause us some issues.
Roof
So,
master.
These are good roofs. I've used them in several places in the past.
Roof master out here.
Yes, sir. Last thing I got for you is Quan's Reservoir will bid March 10th. We will need to have a special council meeting that evening to award that bid. Karina and Thania will both be present for that meeting, as well as Kent. I will make every effort to make it to that meeting if possible. So they'll have all that bid information for you, and that way we can get that contract awarded that week for construction.
That was at 6 o'clock.
Huh?
6 o'clock,
I believe so, yes.
I think that's
March
what I read.
10th.
March 10th.
How's everybody look on their schedules for that date? I'm out of town, so Brett, you'll be running.
Okay.
I think I'm good on that one.
I can call in,
March
but I don't
10th
think you need
is
me.
a
I'll
Tuesday,
vote
yeah.
anyway.
I should be able to.
I'm available.
That is a Tuesday.
Okay.
Tiffany, you wanna send out reminders? Okay.
That is all I have for you, unless you have other questions for me.
Just the
Ordinance?
ordinance? Yeah.
What was the ordinance number on that,
It is
or on page?
1425.
I make the motion, we have the mayor sign ordinance number what?
1425.
1425.
Second.
You want the city attorney to sign it too?
Does he need to?
Form of, the exhibit G, form of opinion needs to be signed by
Yeah,
Scott.
Scott and Lance, yeah.
Do I have a second? Pete, did you second? Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. All right, any more questions? Tiffany?
I just have, there's a budget workshop coming up again. The closest one is Hayes. It's on April 30th. I'll plan to attend that unless you have any objections. And then
Are you attending that with Mapes and Miller?
they usually go, so I haven't asked them yet, but probably will. And then as far as software and all of that, we went ahead and got bills out at the last of the month in our old system. We finally got a spreadsheet together of all the meter changes and sent to Cassell today. There was several discrepancies to work out, like duplicate numbers and things, so Kent coordinated with us to work that out, and Cassell will be working on getting us updated and going hopefully this month, so that's where we're at with that. And then in your packet, you have your monthly municipal court report and your investments.
Tiffany, did we get AMR readings on every month?
It took the tower several days to reconfigure itself, and they sent me one spreadsheet and it was missing like 36 readings is all, so it's getting there.
Okay. I guess I have one more question for Tim. Tim, are we gonna start on the meters down in the well field?
Yes, we will be, probably towards the end of the month.
Dries up a little bit.
We're gonna start by working on the pool for the wastewater plant, and then we'll work out of there.
Okay. Do we have all the equipment?
Okay. What else do we got here? I guess, who's got the,
Oh, I don't have it. No,
You wanna,
Matt needs it.
you wanna,
oh, I'm
you
sorry.
wanna do the public building
Oh.
information right quick before we do that?
To get out of this
No,
one.
we gotta do this before we go to that.
Do we? Okay.
We haven't finished this meeting yet. so.
Okay. I'd like to move the city council to recess into executive session to discuss an individual employee's performance or personal matter to the non-elected personnel to resume the regular meeting at 10 minutes till 7.
With who?
That's a motion.
With, I want the
got a
city
second?
council, mayor, and Mr. Sage.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Adjourned into that other room. Need a motion. Tracy second.
Remember who seconded both executive sessions?
Both. Oh, to go into
The
them?
second.
You
on
did
the-
the second?
Mhm.
You did the first one. Hearing news and who did the second?
Oh, I'm
On the
sorry.
first one?
I did. I seconded
Thank
the
you.
first one.
Okay.
What do we need to do here?
You need to make a motion and no act, or make an announcement, no.
Oh, no action taken.
Yeah, go back into regular session.
If she's,
either
if she's
action.
running the film anyway.
No action taken.
No
on
action
either one.
taken, yeah. Then we want to go back into executive session with council, Mr. Sage and Mr. Driggs for 15 minutes.
Yeah, with this. Continue.
Oh, to continue with our personnel matter.
Okay. Do I have a second?
Second.
Mike seconds. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Get all that.
What time?
7
Regular session, no action was taken, we'll go back into regular session, I guess.
I'll make the motion that the two 800 megahertz radios be turned over to the fire department for their use, and whatever transfer of property agreements that need to happen.
I'll second.
Brett seconds, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes.
I do think we need to put something in the file about this. File.
Okay. Any more discussion on that? Are we in consensus on that?
Huh?
Consensus?
Consensus,
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
I make a motion to adjourn.
No, I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
You're not done
Now we
yet,
gotta do building
buddy. We
commission.
got building commission.
Oh, we got a
crap.
building commission. Yeah.
Oh, crap.
Can't
Sorry.
leave yet.
Sorry. I didn't want Lance to forget and be out the
I'd
door.
like to call to order the Phillipsburg Public Building Commission for March 2nd, 2020. Let's take a look at the September 16, 2019 minutes.
Make a motion, we approve the minutes from September 16, 2019.
Do I have a second?
Second?
Mike seconds, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Any unfinished business?
We need to approve the financial report.
Well,
I take it we paid our whatever bond payment from the last time.
Mhm.
That was the only business that we had, I think.
We need to approve the payment of the
You gotta
interest.
approve the transfer of funds and payment of interest of $41,676.25 due April 1st, 2020.
I'd so move to do that.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Tracy seconds. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes.
I'll make another motion to adjourn.
I'll second it.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? That concludes the Phillipsburg Public
You should be
Building
more fluid
Commission
about that.
meeting.
Should roll off your tongue.